The woman raised the hammer and smashed it down with all her might. Before this, she had deliberately cut her hair short, carefully packed it into a bag, and then took out hair dye to change the color of her hair and eyebrows. All of this was done to fabricate a murder scene, with the goal of framing her lazy, lying husband who dared to cheat on her despite being supported by her. Before disappearing, she had done a lot of preparation. First, she began studying criminology, learning from crime documentaries to understand the specific methods used by the police in their investigations. Then she made a plan and carried it out step by step. She started by getting closer to her neighbors to establish witness testimony, and during their chats, she intentionally revealed her husband's violent tendencies. Next, she created a motive by maxing out his credit card on luxury purchases and gambling online, creating the illusion that her husband was short on money. Then when her husband wasn't paying attention, she had him sign a high-value insurance policy in her name, establishing a motive for him to kill her for the insurance payout. After that, she set herself up as the victim, knowing that a husband killing his pregnant wife would be even more sensational. One day, she invited her pregnant neighbor over for a visit, gave her a lot of lemon water to drink, and after the neighbor used the bathroom, the woman took the pregnant woman's urine to the hospital for testing, leaving a prenatal checkup record at the hospital. But all of this still wasn't foolproof enough. She frantically wrote 300 diary entries, fabricating a loving daily life with her husband, and then placed the diary in the fireplace, burning it just enough to be singed, but not so much that the writing was illegible. Now there was only one final step before she could completely disappear. On this day, after her husband left the house, she began to stage the crime scene, knocking over furniture and shattering glass everywhere to create the illusion that her husband had committed domestic violence. Then she carefully propped up the picture frames, creating a contrast that would arouse the suspicion of the police. After that, she drew her own blood to stage the scene as if her husband had destroyed her body to cover up the crime. After completing all of this, she set off. She had long planned the date of her death, but before that, she absolutely could not be discovered by anyone. The woman cut her hair short and dyed it brown, put on glasses, and quickly gained weight by eating high-calorie foods, all things she would never have touched when she got married. For the past 5 years, she had maintained the appearance that her husband liked the most. For the sake of their perfect marriage, she had suppressed the sharp edges of her personality and satisfied her husband's every demand: status, money, resources, and even the right to make decisions in their life. But not only had her husband changed, he also kept asking for more until he had drained her of all her money. Even more despicable was that her husband wanted to replace her with a younger woman. Well then, it was time for her husband to pay the price. The woman checked into a remote inn and began to admire the trap she had set. As expected, her husband became the prime suspect in her murder and was cursed by everyone. Everything was under the woman's control. But on this day, something unexpected happened. Due to copyright restrictions, I can only show you up to this point. The name of this movie is Gone Girl.